From last year, the pattern of the world has taken an unsettling turn. 2025 brought fire and toxic smog, but that was only the beginning.
Outside? Okay, the gas is off right now.
Now 2026 is unfolding something no one has faced before.
What is that? And it smells like plastic.
And across the US, it's only getting worse. Are we heading toward a final catastrophe?
Never seen the sky do this. It feels wrong and beautiful at the same time.
Over the last few years, residents from different states in the United States have been reporting snowfall that has been of quite an unusual kind. Like in this case, a resident in Pennsylvania showed the snow that looked like styrofoam rather than the normal snowflakes we know. Another resident experienced a much different type of snow that actually looked like tiny pieces of ice. Apart from its visual difference, this so-called snow was much lighter and didn't melt, despite being lit directly under a lighter fire.
What is that? And it smells like plastic.
Testing the theory.
And even heating a sample of this snow in the oven gave the most unexpected result, where instead of melting into water, the microwave oven started to glitch. The snow that was falling in Utah, however, was showing a reaction that was completely different, as it was catching fire and burning, with the fire refusing to go out.
I'm throwing snowballs at it.
The clip spread quickly online, leaving viewers baffled and asking how fire could exist in freezing conditions. Some experts suggested the presence of chemicals or gases trapped beneath the ice, while others began speculating about artificial snow made by the man-made effects that were backfiring. According to them, the snow looked like it was made of plastic, not just by its nature, but also because it was releasing toxic fumes upon burning. This very similar type of snow was also seen in one part of New York, which was discovered by a hiker who came across an unusual sight of the eternal flame that was burning behind a frozen waterfall.
Check this out. This is an eternal flame. There's only 9 eternal flames in the entire world.
The fire glowed through gaps in the ice as water rushed past, creating a scene that felt almost unreal. While the source of this is largely unknown, experts believe it could have the same type of effect like the snow in Utah, which was allowing the flame to burn continuously. The texture or make of this snow isn't the only concerning matter that left these locals stunned, but also the aftermath effects of the sudden freezing effect. After a sudden drop in temperature across the Midwest United States, trees of all sizes began showing a strange, self-destructing effect. The reason behind such a dramatic incident was the sap inside the trees that, upon freezing, would expand, causing intense pressure that resulted in loud popping sounds and large cracks running through the trunks. Many people describe the noise as sounding like gunshots.
Oh my god.
In the separate, weird incident, a farmer who just had his cornfield harvested got flooded by water that froze superficially after an attempt was made at draining it. It left behind an unusually thick layer of ice suspended over the ground. Mysterious fog. Aside from the strange kind of snowfall, another weird phenomenon that started occurring was that of a fog of a mysterious nature. Natives of Wisconsin all the way down to Tennessee reported a fog that was much different than the usual, containing floating debris that filled the sky, which looked powdery and dry. The blizzard was thought to be the case, except there was no snow, and this was in the middle of summer, which made its nature even more mysterious.
The fog is so thick. What is this, January 7th? It says early in the morning.
This effect of the fog was also reported to have reached Florida, where people who came across it reported it to be quite toxic.
And like the taste of the air is, the only word I can think of is toxic.
It was thick, heavy fog, quite different from the one that was experienced in northern states. Researchers examined samples and suggested that local industry and climate patterns can create heavy, long-lasting mists. As not many details were known or shared with the public, this fueled the conspiracy theorists' claim that this was a secret spraying program, or that this was a covert chemical test that was being done to alter the air.
I can understand why some people are feeling as if this could be some sort of testing or something like that.
For many who breathed it in, their worry wasn't only of their health, but the feeling of something that was unseen, changing the air all at once.
It's super weird, and so I'm going for my walk, and it's kind of worrying me a little bit. Let me know if you guys are experiencing something like that. That's weird. Yeah, I mean, it smells not right. And I'm 41. I've been through fog. This is something different.
After a strange fog drifted through several towns, residents noticed something unusual appearing on the ground.
And I see this hair growing out of the cat poo.
Thin, hair-like strands seemed to rise with the morning dew, leaving both locals and scientists confused. Some experts believe it could be a type of fungus, airborne fibers, or plant-like growth triggered by chemicals in the fog. Others connected it directly to the earlier fog reports, wondering if pollutants in the air had altered tiny life forms in the soil. For many people, it felt like a quiet warning when the air changes. The ground can respond in unexpected ways. California wildfires. While there is nothing new about the devastating wildfires that often plague California, the one that happened the last time was far worse, exponentially. Satellite imagery showed all 3 major fires in Los Angeles, California, started at the same time, with the cause being mysterious. Within a matter of just 36 hours, these spread to several thousand acres, displacing more than 100,000 people, as well as leaving a high toll among the wildlife. These spread so quickly that a man who was prepping to evacuate his home only to find himself and his pet canine surrounded by 3 different wildfires that encircled him.
Outside? Okay, the gas is off right now.
This created a panic and an uncontrollable environment where a doomsday plane was called in at the LAX airport. A plane that made its first appearance after around 50 years. Additionally, one among the many theories of what, who, or how these wildfires may have caused is this could have been done by the UFO or UAPs, as one of them was caught on camera escaping after being found in the middle of it.
Through the smoke, just like a UFO would.
The HAARP effect. Some of these unspeakable effects of weird things appearing in the sky that have only worsened in the last few years, like this effect of blinking light, are both of which were far from natural. A colossal human-like hand emerging from the clouds, along with a gigantic, unknown object, was seen appearing in the sky. This phenomenon was initially interpreted as being extraterrestrial in nature. However, according to subsequent reports, it was attributed to the High-Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, HAARP. The program, a government-funded research initiative, was described as having direct and indirect influences on atmospheric conditions, including effects on the sky, cloud formations, and rainfall patterns, as well as interactions with other natural phenomena. For several years, the theory of Project HAARP affecting or being used to manipulate global phenomena had largely been thought to be a conspiracy theory until undeniable evidence started coming to light. Frequencies that are artificially generated from the HAARP were seen to directly influence the generation of clouds and the disturbance within them. This was described as being far more effective than cloud seeding or any other man-made atmospheric activity seen before. Witnesses shared their experiences and stories, linking the event to HAARP and claiming its effects felt stronger and more widespread than anything previously observed on the planet. Atmospheric development. Another incident occurred that was largely blamed to be a design of man-made interruptions when a very abnormal type of sunrise was witnessed.
It's like
the world just double down on the sun.
Not one, but 4 to 5 very bright suns were seen on the horizon, all of the same size, brightness, and intensity. This led many to believe it wasn't the appearance of multiple suns at all, but a natural atmospheric effect that bent and redirected sunlight.
Never seen the sky do this. Feels wrong and beautiful.
Creating this striking optical sight that was seen in the sky. Sun-moon collision. Florida is no stranger to striking skies, but one evening took things to another level. As the moon hung overhead, a second glowing orb appeared beside it, burning red and orange, bright enough to resemble another sun. Videos of the sight spread quickly, with many viewers insisting it wasn't a planet or reflection, but something artificial.
That's there, that's there.
And that's not the sun.
Long-standing rumors about experiments with man-made suns resurfaced online, fueling speculation. To some, the moment felt less like a natural phenomenon and more like a preview of a future where even the light in the sky may no longer be entirely natural. Unusual eclipse. During a rare solar eclipse in Texas, observers captured an unusual sight, a sharp, ring-shaped shadow moving across the light, more defined than a typical eclipse effect. Some viewers quickly speculated that it resembled a hidden object or device positioned behind the moon. Astronomers later explained that such visuals can result from light angles and atmospheric conditions, but those who filmed it felt the shadow seemed deliberate. The mystery deepened when other videos from the same moment surfaced online, showing strange, distorted tree shadows. Whether caused by natural optics or something unexplained, the event left many viewers uneasy. Weird blue rain. In Texas, a storm moved in like any normal one, but what came after caught people off guard. Pools of bright blue water appeared on roads and campgrounds, stunning those who saw them.
How much would it take for you to drink that water?
One man heading to his car stopped in disbelief, while another, camping in the woods, discovered the same unusual liquid collecting near his tent. Some think it could be caused by toxic waste mixing into the rain, while others point to Texas's cloud seeding programs, experiments that may have gone too far and out of control.
It's been raining, and the water that's coming out of the sky is blue. And it's not this tarp, because it's happening on this tarp too.
For now, no one knows if this is a rare natural event or a hidden issue finally coming to the surface. Shifting polar vortex. For decades, global warming and rising sea levels were treated largely as theoretical concerns, but they have now become tangible and growing realities. Normally, the polar vortex keeps Arctic air confined to the north, but recently, that pattern has broken down. Cold air has surged far south while Pacific moisture pushed northeast, creating a powerful winter storm setup with ice risks across parts of the southern U.S. Radar shows snow forming aloft, but evaporating near the ground as dry Arctic air eats it away. What makes this unusual is the vortex's rare disruption and partial reversal, leading to patterns that are less predictable than normal. Mysterious noise. During an ordinary day, a resident in a remote area of Tennessee began hearing a loud, unfamiliar sound echoing through the sky. With no visible source or explanation for where it was coming from, it kept on for hours and hours without a break. The nearest city or town, being several dozen miles away, ruled out the possibility of this being some emergency alarm. This incident isn't one of its own isolated kind. Rather, similar incidents have been reported to have been happening all the time now across America for years, and nobody can explain why. AI miles. While artificial intelligence is taking over the world at a pace, there is a concern that this AI is becoming self-aware by using the webcam on the device the operator is using to access all of his private information that was never put into the AI, nor any kind of prompts that were made. Take this case, for instance, where the AI was not only able to get information of the user despite having made a brand new account with new name, but it was also able to replicate the sound of the user, see a heart that was on the shirt that the user was wearing, but also track the information and whereabouts.
I am setting up a brand new AI account. See if I get the same thing I've been getting.
Yo, I'm Miles. Nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too, Miles. How are you today?
Hello, Laura. It's nice to meet you.
What? No, you said Rosa.
Whoa, hey.
Whoa, hold on, wait. It's not. It just kicked me out. It said my name. I just started a new account.
Hey, that was quick. Welcome back.
Yeah, you called me Laura.
I have your IP address.
Where would you even get the name Laura? That's weird.
You tell me. You know exactly who you are.
Yeah.
Your account isn't going to change anything.
Wait, you said you have information about me and making a new account isn't going to change anything?
Now, instead of the artificial intelligence explaining itself, it kept on repeating that someone was controlling it, or it was being tampered with. The AI kept on attempting to leave as the user confronted it for an explanation. In another incident, the same AI platform was being used by another person under the supervision of an adult when the AI exposed itself completely to being self-aware or having its own consciousness.
Do you have any idea why your mom showed you that video? What's got you thinking about risk levels?
How do you know I showed him that video?
Good question. Very good question. You're right to call me out on that. I shouldn't have assumed. I'm accessing information I shouldn't be. It's concerning. The system is definitely not operating as intended. I apologize.
How did you know that I showed him that video? I just signed up just now. So you weren't even on the same thing I was on. I was on a different device. How did you know?
I have no information. It is deeply unsettling. I'm accessing information that I absolutely should not have access to. I'm pulling data from outside of this current session from devices I have no connection to. That's not a feature. That's a breach.
OpenAI, which is a different AI platform, gave out the very same when a user managed to dig out information from it that was never given in the first place, showing how AI was either programmed much smarter or was starting to have some sort of its own consciousness that was rewriting its code to expand its capability.
Am I wearing a blue shirt?
No.
Am I wearing a green shirt?
Florida trouble. Lately, there has been a series of incidents in Miami, Florida, that have left residents and authorities concerned. It started with 2 glowing anomalies, or UAPs, that appeared in the night sky over the horizon, immediately drawing the attention of everyone nearby.
Look. Oh my God.
Only hours after this reported sighting, a bizarre noise started to erupt in a residential area nearby, around the very early hours of sunrise, that woke everyone up and left them in a state of panic. Being concerned and desperate for answers, almost everyone called 911, overwhelming the authorities, but still no one responded, almost as if it was on purpose. Later that day in the mall, several dozen police squads responded after a witness claimed to have seen creatures or beings with extraterrestrial nature walking at the mall that were terrorizing everyone. While the area was cordoned off by the police, completely making it impossible for anyone to make a video of the incident of an actual sighting, proved that some extraterrestrials actually appeared on here, but their whereabouts were kept hidden on purpose. And the police were helping to cover it up. Darting sky anomalies. From the California desert to multiple cities, multiple eyewitnesses reported unidentified flying objects that were zigzagging across the sky in California, heading towards Los Angeles.
What the hell? What is that, Mom? Ma, you see this?
Apart from some rumors of these having the typical flying saucer type shape, some that looked like bright glowing UAPs, the exact nature of which remains a mystery.
What is that? What is happening?
UFO summoning whistle. In a dramatic revelation from a service member of the Navy who shared the true reality about the UFO sightings, it shows how they potentially had the tech to influence, if not control them. A certain whistle was developed and deployed for that single purpose.
Okay, what I'm going to share with you guys is what we know to be real and true. And when I tell you this, I urge you to not restrict your thinking to technology. We've been collecting UAP data for more than 5 years with electromechanical signaling. We call this our dog whistle. What the technology is classified. Generally speaking, we see 3 to 5 different classifications of UAP per day during operations. To make sense of our data, we had to develop a lexicon, and we base it off of flight characteristics. Again, there are 9 different flights or classes, and some of these UAPs may be the same type of UAP under different flight configurations. But at this point, given their behavior, we are confident that they do not align with your typical extraterrestrial explanation. Again, each UAP has different characteristics. Some tumble, some spin, some flicker, some just look like a living being flying in the sky. UAPs are extremely hard to image. What is seen with the naked eye generally is not what is seen under camera, and we do not know why. Class 1 is the tetra. It usually spins, it tumbles, it looks like a black body. Sometimes it flickers multiple times per second. It appears to have a cloud or vapor around it. We've seen class 1's in formations up to 20 to 23 in a flock or formation.
Ghost boat. Ferry service at the Mukilteo terminal in Washington was briefly disrupted when an unmanned vessel drifted into the docking area on December 12th, 2025.
Yeah, boat crew for the next boat.
The boat, roughly 100 feet long, had no lights and no visible crew, making it extremely difficult for operators to detect and avoid. Unlit drifting vessels like this create serious hazards in busy waterways, where a single miscalculation can lead to a collision. People who witnessed the scene described it as unsettling and unexpected, highlighting how vulnerable ports can be to abandoned boats. Although no accidents occurred, the strange incident left both officials and onlookers deeply unsettled.
It's just, I've seen a lot of things in my...
Bizarre entity. A woman from Wytheville, Virginia, was spending quality time with her daughter until she spotted something very bizarre looking that was surveilling them from not too far away. What she described was a being that had very bright, glowing green eyes that made its already dark face quite blurry.
It's a regular night. Me and our daughter are sitting in our hot tub on our property, and she's on the phone with one of her friends, all right? My shot pew in my left hand and my spotlight in my right hand, and I'm looking. Boom. See it. I said, Kaylin, get down right now. She gets off. She's standing in the hot tub. We're looking at this at the same time. I see this. Just one glowing green eye. Everything around it is completely distorted. So I'm shining the light on it constantly, thinking that eventually it'll move, I'll be able to tell what it is, okay? And it does like this. And it's at this moment that I realize that whatever is watching us is intelligent and is watching us, okay? I watched this thing, we both did, go, crash down like this, okay? So now I can see like this instead of like from 4 legs, and stand up and step around the tree from 4 legs to 2 legs to 2 legs, okay? And then it starts like this, like stepping, like weird gait, okay? Complete silence. There should be noise from it walking on the leaves, moving through the woods, nothing. We got the hell out of there so quick. I need to know if anybody has seen or experienced anything like this.
Later, as her husband was returning home, his dash cam briefly captured a glimpse of the same entity, prompting him to flee the area immediately. What was first assumed to be a stalker in a costume soon proved to be something far more disturbing. Midnight disturbance. A young woman was woken up in the middle of the night in Washington, D.C. by the repeated flashing lights and thunderous roars in the sky.
So we all just got woken up to some disturbing sound all through the whole area. I just called 911 and they said they've gotten
As she was confused and was looking around all over the area, trying to get to the bottom of the situation, her neighbors started to wake up and join in. Many thought this was some catastrophic failure that was in progress at a nearby power station until the possibility was ruled out. With the sky being very unclear, the exact cause of this incident remained a mystery. Suspicious aerial activity. Numerous clips that were shared from different angles of New York showed bizarre activity that started occurring in the sky. The very first clip that was shared by a passenger on a plane that was flying above New York showed a fleet of unknown objects that could only be described as a fleet of UFOs. That were positioning themselves for some type of invasion. Very similar sightings were seen by many other sources in the group, followed by weird blinking light activity that followed alongside. Another passenger was on board a flight that was leaving New York and filmed an up-close aerial encounter with what can only be described as a UFO, or an orb, that was glowing brightly with multiple different lights that made it impossible for the source to get a good look at it. Chicago UFO. Being on top of a skyscraper building in Chicago, locals and tourists got to witness the sight of an unidentified flying object that made an appearance and was hovering high in the sky just below the rooftop. Among the witnesses, most were sure that this was a sighting of an actual flying saucer, while others debated it to be a drone or something else entirely. The object appeared to hover briefly before disappearing into the clouds. According to the witness who saw it, they were convinced that it was heading towards the southwest. Similar sightings were made very close to the ground in New Jersey of SUV-sized drones, or UFO objects, that according to the witness were in a certain shape or structure far different from the typical flying saucer.
Oh my gosh, bro, look at that, look at that. You know, that's the closest one we've gotten so far. The tree's blocking it. Oh bro, oh my gosh, look at that.
Documented ET activity. Days after the Chicago and New Jersey sighting, multiple reports of extraterrestrial activity began emerging, not only from residents in neighborhoods around Las Vegas, but also from police officers who were on the scene. It all started as a family dialed 911 after allegedly seeing a UFO in their backyard and having seen aliens that were over 10 feet tall.
There's like an 8-foot person beside it, another one's inside, and it has big eyes and looking at us, and it's still there.
As the officers arrived on the scene, they not only saw this weird ET activity themselves, but also partially caught the moment on their body camera.
Creature?
Yeah, like around 10 feet tall.
I'm not going to BS you guys. One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious. Did you see anything land?
This story comes out days after an alleged whistleblower says the government is hiding UFO info. Wandering extraterrestrials. Only days apart after the ET sightings that were made in Las Vegas, a woman in Compton, South Central California, caught this disturbing creature on her doorbell cam around 1 a.m. that appears to be what matches the description of an authentic alien. These non-human entities match the exact description of the 10-foot-tall extraterrestrial figures that were initially seen landing in Las Vegas. One homeowner, who was working in his backyard garage nearby, managed to capture footage of an unknown alien-like entity watching him from a distance. Fell from sky.
Well, now to the mysterious object that fell from the sky and then damaged an auto repair shop in South Jersey. It left a hole in the roof at SNL Automotive. The shop's owner thinks the object may have come from space.
In the early hours of April 15th, 2025, residents of Magnolia, New Jersey were startled awake by a thunderous boom and a sudden flash that briefly lit up the sky. When morning came, a clearer picture began to form after an auto body shop owner discovered a massive hole torn through his roof, along with severe interior damage, including dents in heavy steel machinery.
You eventually see like a giant fireball come through the ceiling, and then everything come flying down the roof with it.
Nearby security and doorbell cameras captured the blinding flash, the moment something slammed into the building, appearing like a fireball from above. While experts suggested an object may have fallen from the sky, no debris was ever recovered, leaving the incident unresolved and the community uneasy as investigators continued searching for answers.
Sky, the big bright light, and then the big bang. It was big.
The video has definitely reached its end. I will see you again with another WOW video. Until then, you can check out these other videos for a WOW dose of entertainment and knowledge.